Good evening. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a regular meeting for Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 5:30. We are at Red Mountain Middle School. Mr. Kroll, can you call roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Present.
Mr. Orozco,
Present.
Mrs. Crumley,
Present.
Mr. Kroll, present.
On Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the sea of symbol of perpetuation among united cultures.
All right. Any changes to the agenda?
Mr. President, members of the board, I am asking for the removal of item J. In consulting with Mr. Wertz, he has asked that we remove this to revisit it at another time. He just feels that the list that he provided or that Mr. Adcock provided to us could be more complete, so we're asking for that removal.
That'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the agenda, including the removal of action item 8J.
Second,
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
On to public comment. Okay. You guys having trouble hearing me? Okay. All right. We apologize for the inconvenience. You're usually somewhere else, but that building is occupied right now. So with furniture that needs to be put together or put in offices. So we had to change locations. So public comment.
Mr. President, members of the board, we would like to recognize Crystal Simmons for public comment from First Saving Bank.
You have a check for us, ma'am? This is something that they do every year for us and we're extremely grateful. For Savings Bank presents a check to the schools. Can you explain how this works again?
So we have a Wildcat debit card within our bank. And this debit card, every time you swipe your card, a portion of it comes back to the schools. And we try to push it onto everybody that opens an account with us. So.
Thank you very much for that.
Huh?
And I want to say historically, it's about 1800. That's an increase.
Now, last year it was fairly over too, so this year it's a little bit more.
Go on next.
Squeeze in for a photo.
1, 2. You want non-disclosures or?
Yes, if everybody can sign the consent, so we can post it on them.
That's what we consent.
Yeah.
Wrong office, right? Don't put these photos. 1, 2, 3. Are they in there?
Right here.
Yeah, and we'll get it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good one.
All right. Any other public comments?
Was any other public comment? No.
Okay. All right. On to reports. Any Deming?
Voting so I've been here, that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so superintendent, President Oposco and board members, just a quick update on our CBA. We're getting the completion of it. We don't have it completed by the end of the school year. And hopefully ratified during the summer and then presented to you during the first, hopefully the first board meeting in August. Questions?
Thank you. On to consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Have a second,
I'll
second.
Mr. Kroll?
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
With that, on to action items. Action items 8A, consideration of out-of-state travel for FFA October of 2025. Travel to Dallas, Texas for National World Contest, also travel to Indianapolis, Indiana for National Convention. Is that date right, Mr.?
Yes,
Polk?
and I'll explain it here a little bit. I
Okay.
don't know. I have some students here to kind of represent. Beginning of April, we took 23 students to Las Cruces for our state judging competition. We had 8 teams and we had 3 of them that were top 5. We competed against 64 other schools.
Wow.
Our landscape design team was 3rd, agronomy team was 5th, and our full evaluation team were state champions.
Awesome.
So being state champions, they qualify for the National Wool Contest in Dallas, Texas. That date isn't released yet. It's in October sometime. We're seeking approval so early so that way we can get flights or hotels and stuff, because the closer you get, the more expensive they are. But they worked real hard all year, and I just kind of wanted them to represent the National Convention in Indianapolis. We took our agri-science fair girls there 2 years ago, and there's 72,000 members from across the country that go, and it's a pretty cool experience for these kids to experience.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So are we okay with approving that soon?
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. Superintendent Nips and I had that discussion, and because of the price for flights and hotels increasing as we do get closer, we are recommending approval.
I only asked that question just to be in compliance with everything,
Yeah.
making sure that we're not too far out.
And I know
We
it's
need-
super early, but they're already going up every
Yeah.
day, so.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. How's your experiences? Talk to me. Tell me about the experience. What did you guys enjoy the most about it? What was the least you enjoyed about it?
I think what we enjoyed the most about it was last year we didn't even place top 10, and we all year we were like, oh, we're gonna place top 10, we're gonna place top 10 last year, and when we didn't, we were super discouraged. And this last year we said, well, we're gonna do it this year, and better yet, we're gonna win. And each contest, we just wanted to make sure we were better each time. So when we reached state, we felt super confident. And I think the most exciting part was like standing on stage, and as they called the teams, they called top 5. And when they got to second and they said different school, and we're still there. And when they called us for first, that was an amazing experience. That was definitely my favorite part.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was truly exhilarating. And then just to know that we were the first teams to have won anything since 2019. And we were the first Deming Wool team to ever receive the state title as well. And we were the first team, I believe, in a long time to pick back up the wool contest. So truly, just like Destiny said, to be up there on that stage and to hear 5th place to be a different school, 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place. And then, we did it. We won. After 3 long years of hard work and tears and just practicing in the ag shop until the sun goes down, we finally did it. And it was truly just an experience that we'll never forget.
That's awesome. So you guys got it down for next year, right? Who graduates this year? 2. There you go. You guys got it down for next year. We'll look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve out-of-state travel for FFA October of 2025 to Dallas, Texas for the National World Contest. Also the travel to Indianapolis, Indiana for the National Convention.
I'll second.
I second.
I'll give it to you. Okay. On to item B, consideration of out-of-state travels. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Kroll. I apologize. There's a bunch of stuff going on tonight.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
There you go, Mr. Polk.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. On to B now. Consideration of out-of-state travel for DHS boys basketball, May 30th through June 1st, 2025. Travel to Phoenix, Arizona for Central Team Camp.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips, I'm sure Coach will mention it, but I was notified that the event actually got moved to the following week, so on the agenda it's incorrect, but you can speak to the correct dates.
Yes, Coach Gonzalez, or
Yes, sir.
the new head coach, I mean, I spoke to the boys basketball. I do have a packet I
Oh.
want to present to you guys.
Awesome.
Thank
you. It's actually shows the invitation or the flyer to okay, thank you.
Thank you.
To, no problem. Thank you. So we're trying to move it to June 6th. As you can see, there is the May 30th through June 1. But after speaking with Coach, he had to move that back to, it was already scheduled for June 6th to race. So we're trying to change the date. I feel like the boys have raised enough money to cover their travel. And I was told that I just needed to get approval from the board. But I feel it's a great opportunity. If you look through the package, there is the actual schedule for that weekend and an itinerary attached to it as well. But yeah, I feel like this is something that the boys have definitely earned, that they raised their money. So I feel like it's the trip. It's a very competitive team count. You know, it gives coaches an opportunity to see how competitive we're going to be, and it gives the boys a chance to bond outside of the school.
Oh, awesome. Any questions by the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I did have one question. Is this just varsity?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
This would be just varsity. As you can see in the packet, the JV and the ninth grade would be the following weekend. And I feel like, as far as the funding is concerned, we are gonna have, there is enough money for funds to stay overnight and to get a bus to take us over there. But as far as for the JV and the ninth grade or C team, the funding wouldn't be there as much as because for those weekends, we would like to go to the other team camps that are going on the rest of June. And I think the June 20th, which is also another team camp that you have, we will be picking up to Mayfield for one at Mayfield. And that would be for all teams.
Oh, okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so nobody's getting left out then. There'll be camps for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve out-of-state travel for DHS boys basketball team to travel to Phoenix, Arizona for Central Team Camp from June 6th through the 8th.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
It's like you're going, coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to action item C, consideration of approval of unified application for federal programs 25-26 school year.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips, colleagues, friends, everyone that's seeing us here today. We have in front of you, which is a horrible copy, but I'm gonna start off with that. I did present kind of like the highlights of the unified application. It's not, it did not allow for a wonderful viewpoint there. It's all online, so Chuck and Mr. Turner and I decided to be nice to project some of the specifics. You do have though in front of you a list of the expenditures that will be coming out of our federal money for next year. There's still a few more adaptations, but before I do that, I want to kind of talk about the process. With me, of course, I have my boss and my colleague here, Mr. Reinhardt. We started the process a few months ago with about a 6-week window to get this application done. And the vision for PED was to, like it says, to unify all the federal money together under one umbrella in one area. And it was decided by the past superintendent that we take on to this vision, and I fully agreed with it because we wanna, next year, we don't wanna struggle through the process. So we wanted to make sure that we have this down. Within the unified application, we have Title I Part A, Title I Part C, which is our migrant grant, Title I Part D, which we don't get, I'm sorry, Title II, Title III, our immigrant grant, Title IV, and Title V. So within that, it's not just me that's in charge of all those grants. We do have some people in the audience that are actually all here today who helped me to fill their pieces out. And that's of course Superintendent Nips and Mr. Science. And is he just a three? Oh, it's a three. Try it. And so it's been a process. A lot of PD, working with PED on a weekly basis to learn the new system of how it's going to look. Their goal is to whatever we put into the application, we'll no longer have to put in a pre-approval to PED to purchase anything out of federal money. And if anyone knows, that's what bogs us down with federal money. So if I'm gonna buy 10 pencils for 10 students, then I need to send in the pre-approval as to who's gonna get the pencil, how are we gonna inventory those pencils, how do we make sure that one group of students get those pencils. This is gonna help us to bog down some of that paperwork. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping we'll get there. We'll see how it goes next year. In collaboration with, of course, Mrs. Reinhardt, with Joe here, of course, and Terry, Mr. Parker had some input. So we've been going back and forth because we did have a decrease in federal money in most grants. For example, our Title I Part 8, which is typically, we used to be in the 4 million. We're now down to $2,487 for next year. It's about a $400,000 difference from the year prior. So where does that money come from? And what does the district have to take on? How are we gonna shift some of those responsibilities into other budgets to make sure that we're still meeting the needs for all the kids, all the programs, and especially our schools? Because the schools is the priority. How much are the schools gonna get? Did their allocations go down? So we're doing our best to come up with answers from the district level to ensure that the money is going down to the student level. There are a few district people that come out of this allocation, but these individuals work 100% with kids at the student level. So we're making sure that our Title I money is getting used as such and appropriately as we go. I could talk about each grant individually, but you can see it, and I can go. This is an entire process that took from, and I didn't print this as well because it's very lengthy, but there was a needs assessment that was completed prior to even starting the process. So we brought in brought in a few principals, a lot of our gurus that are in charge of different programs within the school, and we decided what are the needs for the district and what is our vision for the future. We talked about curriculum, very good discussions that were had with this process. The state's trying to ensure that we're in compliance with the federal guidelines, and so it really helped us stay in tune. So maybe this application in that respect is making sure that we're following protocol as we should. We're good?
You're good?
I don't have anything else. You can see here on the side of the expenditure detail, where each grant is what we're gonna fund out of each piece. Some of it are stipends for Title II, our content specialist for our working with our Ls. Comes out of Title III, our migrant grant that did go down 60%. So we used to get 100. Last year we got 141,000. This year we're getting 49. And so it pitched a little bit, but it was still I still had the form. With PED, and I was just inquiring why such a decrease, and it was not just us, it was every single district in the state that got hit between 50 and 60%. In that grant, and so we have to do a little bit of adjusting on how we're still gonna continue supports for these 150 migrant students that we have in our district, so. It takes a lot of brains to come together, but we have a very solid team.
What do they contribute that reduction to? Is it just overall loss of money that they're getting from
They get in, so
just, here's 50% less? We're not gonna
here's
explain.
the reality of all this.
So it's not based on the number of students. Like it used to be based on the number of
It
students.
used to
that-
be based on number of students, but now I think it's, I just think that there was a lot less. Yeah.
It's just a lot less funding available.
Nothing that we did. It was just what the state decided. Okay, thank you.
And I do want to highlight Mr. Chavez. This unified, we're a pilot, it's a pilot across the state of New Mexico to do this, but it's gonna be mandatory next year. And just the work he had to put in just to do, understand the application process, he met for months, once a week.
Mhm.
And so it was very extensive, so I want to highlight Mr. Chavez, his hard work, because it was a lot. And he took it, looking at why is our money being cut? And how do we keep the migrant? Where do we put it? What do we do? And so I just want to highlight his hard work and diligence to put the kids first.
And you'll see that on here, thank you, Mr. Bernard, I appreciate that. But, one of the biggest changes this year is that we didn't get the McKinney-Vento grant, which helps our homeless population. We have over 333 students who fall under the McKinney-Vento umbrella. So how do we continue, serving these kids and providing social service for these children that are going through some pretty severe, fairly severe situations around our county? And so, with foresight and with permission from everyone, I allocated $25,000 because we used to get close to 33, but I did allocate a good chunk of Title I to supplement us in that way. So that's the good thing about having a few of the first things, because I'm able to shift some of that money around to continue some of those.
With the McKinney-Vento, it's not for another 2 years. Am I right that you can apply?
I can't
Again?
apply. So last year was year one, this one's year 2,
So
next
when-
year's year 3, so we can't apply until that following year. A lot of the districts that received money prior did not get the funding this cycle. They focused more on the districts that didn't have programs. So it was also something that they didn't want. They were trying to build, since we're built and we're almost, like Dana Malone says at the state level, that we're a model of the services that we provide for our kiddos. Now that you guys are set, let's move the money to other districts that absolutely needed it, but it kind of left us in the shadow.
And there was a consolidated grant, am I right? Over with the REC?
Yes, but we're not part of it.
Yeah. And so, and you can't become part of that either, am I right? Until
I'm not sure.
maybe we could look into seeing about being part of the consolidated plan
Okay.
next year.
For next year.
Yeah, they may have some funding there.
And I just want to echo what Ms. Reinhardt said. I know Mr. Chavez lost a lot of sleep and he
That's right.
over this and he put a lot of time and thought and effort into this. So thank you because, yeah.
It should pay off.
Yeah.
It should pay off.
Good shit.
Yes.
It's the greater.
Thank you. That I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the unified application for federal programs 2025-2026 school year.
Do I have a
Second
second?
that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crow, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. On to consideration of budget adjustment requests. Mr. Adcock.
Yes, President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. We've got a short list this week, or this month. There's only 3. Now, this is for the 24-25 year, so this is still for the existing year. The first one is a decrease, as you heard, all of our federal funding is starting to decrease. This is due to, we're adjusting it to our final award on the first one for the rural and low income pool. The next one is another decrease. Again, it's adjusting to the final award that we got for the year. That one's a decrease of $50,000. And then the last one that I have to present to you is a transfer bar. What this is for is to move the budget around so that we can cover the summer school credit recovery program that we've had.
Questions by the board? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget adjustment request presented by Mr. Adcock.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
On to item E, consideration to approve resolution to maintain mill levy rate.
President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. At last week's work session, we had a presentation by RBC as far as what is our rates and what can we do to maintain those rates. So this resolution is just a resolution to say that we're wanting to keep our rates the same. We don't want any changes to that. So it's not an increase or a decrease to our property tax rates. It stays the same as far as living close to us. Is RBC on?
Yes, they are.
No, good evening, President, members of the board. No, thank you, Joe, for really going over the majority of the document. The only thing I want to clarify again is that, this document doesn't guarantee nor does it promise what the tax rate will be next year. That depends on what your assessed value will be, and we won't get those values, those preliminary values until the summertime. So again, all this document really does is state, the board's goal or intention to keep the tax rate level at $5.75 again.
Questions by the board? Good. None, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution to maintain the mill levy rate the same.
I'll second.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
All right. Thank you. On to item F, consideration to approve resolution proposing general obligation school bond.
So again, last week, we, at the work session, we talked about the bonds and how we're gonna maintain that and what we need to do to make that happen. This is, scenario 2 that we talked about last week. And what we would need to do to make that happen.
No, again, thank you, Joe. Again, just a reminder, the $7 million election amount supports your level tax rate and also allows for the district to go ahead and issue $400,000 ETNs annually. Additionally, too, within that resolution, I just want to point out that the ballot question is included within that resolution, and we do leave it quite open-ended and somewhat vague so that the district will have the flexibility to be able to use the proceeds on what you feel is best and most needed.
Questions, discussion?
Make a motion that we approve the resolution proposing general obligation to the school board. I'm sorry, to the school bond.
I'll second.
Mr. Cole?
Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
To action item G, consideration of approval of notice to Luna County Clerk of Deming Public School District number 1, Board of Education positions to be filled at November 4th, 2025 regular local election.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. I'm not sure if RBC will cover this, but all we do is notify the county clerk's office that we have 2 positions up for this year's general election. That'll be seats 1 and 2, which is Mrs. Cameron's position and Mr. Kroll's position.
No comments by the board. I'll entertain a motion.
We'll move to approve the notice to Luna County Clerk of Deming Public School District's open positions to be filled at November 4th, 2025 regular local election.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
All right. On with that, on to item H, consideration to approve Deming Public Schools operational budget for 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Adcock.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. So in your packet, I'm gonna mainly be looking at the budget summary form that's on the top here. We had a work session last week, we talked about the operation budget. There is one change that I made to this whenever I started double checking everything. That change was I increased function 4,000 by $305,000. The reason I did that is because we have a bus that's on order. And we're not sure if it's gonna make it here by June or if it's gonna be in July. So that was adjusted so that if it does come in July, we're good and covered with that. If it does end up coming in earlier, then we'll be able to pay for it out of this year's budget, and then that won't be part of next year's. There are several other funds that are listed here for next year. Those are the 15,200, which is basically our tax that we collect. It is operational money. 21,000 is the food service. 22,000 is our gate money that we collect at all the school sporting events. That does go back into the athletes. 25,200 is our ROTC program that we have. The 31,100, that's our bond that we currently have the cash for. We talked about it last week where we had already issued bonds. That's just getting us budget authority for next year. The 31,200, that's also a capital outlay. That's money that the state has given to us for security for the schools and for the My Little School project that we're doing. Again, this is just getting us budget authority for next year. Same thing with the SB 9 money in the 31,701. And then the last two are the 41,000 and the 43,000. Those are our debt services. And again, that's just to repay the debt that we already have issued out. The interest payments, any fees that they have, and the principal payment.
Any further questions by the board? No, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Deming Public Schools operational budget for 2025-2026 school year.
I'll second that.
Mr. Kroll.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Adcock. On to consideration to approve Deming Cesar Chavez High School operational budget for 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Nunez.
Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. I was actually very nervous because I was just informed you didn't get the packet, so it is uploaded to.
They don't have it in front of them.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
You take a 30-second. So you did get the documents. I was like stressing that. Don't let it see you sweat. Right? So, members of the board, I thank you for allowing us to be here and for really introducing our budget. We're elated to be here again. We haven't been here in a while, so I will turn it over to the money man. He will explain. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having us here, and now you see why Noel has much less hair than I do. And thank you very much, Charles, for giving the this is we're completing year one of our new contract, and again, I'd like to thank the board for working with us all last year, in, renewing our charter contract. As we mentioned last year, we wanted to grow our program, but grow it very specifically, very slowly. We did have an increase of 18 students this year. And here in a minute, I'll let you, let Noel tell you about the night program and the changes we made to that, and then also the fast track calendar that we're doing as well. But last year was pretty tight year financially for it. But because of that growth, we did receive extra funds as of February. And then looking up to this next year, this is the year whenever we kind of get the effects of those things. So we're going from a $2.1 million budget to a $2.4 million budget, much smaller than Mr. Adcock's. And the big thing that we'll have is increase of 1 FTE in the instruction function. Okay. We'll have another, hopefully a teacher. If not, it'll be a long-term sub slash instructional assistant. We've had a really good turnout. Again, I'll let him go over the graduation numbers that we're having this year. As for our other funds, again, we're under the unified application of DPS for our federal funds. There's one other fund that we don't have on here right now that we will be utilizing. We've contracted smaller with a marketing strategist, and we'll be utilizing Fund 60,000, which is now called the Enterprise Fund. We were able to get some donations from the community last year to pay for the uniform T-shirts that we have for our kids. And we'd just like to expand that out and really make that more of a guided program instead of just having our staff kind of go ask for donations. So we'll be opening up that fund. They won't allow me to budget for it yet. They have to see any revenues that we have, so we'll be doing those as far as the calendar piece, would just like to mention that we will be going about a week longer than Deming Public Schools. And there's only 2 days within that, outside of that last week, that we will be attending that DPS will not. And it's the day before Election Day and then the day after the fall break. So we have those scheduled right now as synchronous remote days. We're allowed 4 in the year, so we're using those 2 right there. And if we need any wind closure days or anything like that, we'll still have 2 in the bank that we use. The salaries, we will be doing a 4% cross. I think the statute asks for a 4% average, but we're going to do a 4% across. And on the minimums, we've already surpassed the minimum wages for each of the levels, as well as the hourly and the instructional assistants. Is for any questions right now before I turn it over to Mr.
You guys had a summary page attached to this. I think it won last year, right? You guys it kind of explained or went over kind of just a snapshot of things.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't see that one didn't get uploaded.
It didn't get sent to Charles.
Okay.
And then we do have a Teams with the district. Where we not only have like the budget documents, all the forms and things like that. I think that's kind of what got uploaded to you guys instead of just kind of like the nice pretty one.
Okay.
But we can get that.
Okay. I remember seeing it. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
But okay. Process wise, as far as the communication and as far as, and this is for both sides, but everything's smooth. Is there anything that we need to tweak? Is there anything that?
Mr. Chairman, communication's been great. I do have to commend Deming Public Schools. As a district authorizer, I see a lot of districts out there and I'm not gonna say one, but the largest school district in the state, they struggle with their district authorizers. We have a great relationship. We've always been commended. We've always been told that, you know, everything that we ask, we get. There's many school districts that don't even provide nutrition for the district schools. They don't provide transportation for these district charters. We get all that. We get that and more. So the relationship we have with Deming Public Schools has been wonderful. I've always felt that this is one community, and I felt that it's been that way. I will say this, I want to commend the Snips. When she came in and went to budget, these people approached me and they said, hey, we're there to help you, whatever you need. And that gives you peace of mind, because, you know, at the end of the day, you care about the community. And that makes us feel good, because this is all our students. Our victories are their victories. So we feel that everybody's been transparent. Change is always tough, but at the end of the day, I think it's been a good thing for our district, and we're happy where we're at. Alongside with that, I do want to say we did increase 18 students. We went 178 students. We do have we're capped at 110 during the day. So we have 110 in the day and then 70 at night. We took a big gamble. You know, we don't steal. We borrow ideas permanently. We borrowed an idea from New Americas from Las Cruces. They have a night program there, where they're very fortunate. They have day teachers and administrators and night teachers and administrators. We don't have that luxury. So you're looking at the day director and the night director. And I'm not complaining, because we needed to revamp our night school. So what we started doing is for 9 weeks, we get our students Monday through Thursday, and we bring them in, and they were gonna get a credit after every grading period. So in the year, if these students show up every day and they miss less than 2 days, that's all. If you miss more than 2 days, that's it. You're not gonna get the credit. Then we're gonna get 4 credits. So we're hoping that students could at least recover the core classes. With electives, we do have a good work study program that they can attain their elective credit with work study. Every 65 work hours in our school attains 1 elective credit. So this year we took that gamble, and I am happy to say that we are going to graduate 69 students this year. Wow. We've never had that many. The most we've ever graduated is 3. So it's a big gamble. Long nights, I'm not gonna lie to you. My day starts every day at 7:30, and I stay there till 7 o'clock. But it's worth it, because now our graduation rate, as you all saw in the PED report, last year went up to 55%. It doesn't look like much, but on average, re-engagement schools, which what we are, the average is 30-some%. So we're above the average, but of course, we are being evaluated as a traditional high school, and we have to get to 66.6%. We set a lot of things in place, like our early detection, where we're detecting students that are falling behind. We're giving them learning packets. We're putting them on Edgenuity. We have an 8th-hour tutoring. We're putting all our MLSS support systems and supports for our students. And we have the same teachers that work in the morning, work in the evening. So it's long days, but they do get reimbursed for the work. But I'm here to say we are doing the darnest to get these kids where they have to go in. And I want to say I'm excited to see what the numbers are going to be next year. Because if we got 55% this year, from 38% to 55%, 17.9% increase. Now, I'm excited to see. We had 13 bubble students, and out of those 13 bubble students, we have 3 have till Monday to finish everything in order for them to graduate. So if we get these 3 bubble students, we can get to 70% graduation rate, and that's unheard of in a re-engagement. So
that's awesome.
We're trying our best, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of long hours, but we have the people and staff, and we have the support here at Denver Public Schools that helps us. So to answer the question, yes.
That's awesome, and that's what we want to have, that seamless, working relationship. And if there's hiccups, or if there's stuff that we need to talk about, let's put it on the table and talk about it. Let's work through it so we don't have those. So everything is smooth.
And I feel we have the people. We have a great working relationship with all of you. Mr. Turner has always been transparent with us, and Snips is very transparent. Her staff, everybody that works, we have a good working relationship with everybody. At any time, my staff can go, my secretarial staff can go to any secretarial staff at Denby Public Schools that they support. So
Good.
it's been good. It's been a very good relationship.
Well, we commend you for the job that you guys are doing over
Well, we're
there.
trying to, thank you.
Definitely fills a void that we need, so,
Yes, sir.
and it's beneficial.
Yes, sir. And at the
Keep
end of
doing
the day, the one community.
Yes, sir. Keep doing the good job and don't go anywhere.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, what else do you guys got for us?
That would, what's that? Yeah, we also did, implement our fast track program. That's our summer school program. So we do have some students that are not gonna graduate on time, and we understand that. But we do have these students on our summer school program. So what they're gonna be doing, we have them on a fast track program where they have to take the work keys test. They have to, do resumes. They have to get the work study programs. They have to finish their classes. And we're gonna keep them till June 30th. Now, I heard of a good plan. We may implement it. I never heard of a June commencement ceremony. I've never heard of that. But some alternative schools do have a commencement ceremony with June in late June. We have about other 7 students to 10 students that are on that pace. We have underclassmen too that are on the juniors that are behind the credits that we're gonna keep on summer school to work on this. And we're gonna be there Monday through Thursday from 8 to 3 o'clock. And they're gonna be there. We're gonna support them to help them, the juniors to help them get to where they need to be. And the seniors to complete their classes. That way they can graduate in June. Not on time. They're not gonna walk in the commencement ceremony, but they at least will get the diploma. And so we may graduate we were looking at our graduating class and we might get close to 50 students this year, which is the largest we've ever had. So through this fast track, it's a lot of things. They have to go to the workforce office and they changed the name, and I forgot what the name of the workforce connection office is now. But yeah, they have to do many things through our program for the fast track, and hoping that they have alternatives or other methods for them to get a credit. And that way we can help them, support them to want to be remitted.
Well, and the work keys gives them
It's
Um, credentials or whatever that they could go to a job and.
that is correct.
Right.
So we're utilizing the services that we have in our
Right,
community.
that's
We're-
great.
We have good communication and good working relationships with the head, with the workforce. and
Good.
Office.
Good. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Any questions by the board?
When is graduation?
Graduation, and you all got an invitation, my understanding. I hope you got it. It's this Thursday, this coming Thursday at 10 in the morning at Special Event Center. We sent invitations for Denby Public School Board, well, their principals, and I believe the city council, we send them around. One thing that we did find out, I don't know how you missed 450 some chairs. But the county has missed 450 some chairs. We have to actually rent 450 some chairs because we're expecting more people this year since our commencement ceremony is gonna get a little bit bigger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody's got some explaining to do.
Calendars, 10 o'clock.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, comments by the board? Okay. None, I'll entertain a motion.
I make the motion to approve the Denning Cesar Chavez Charter High School operational budget for 2025-26.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Conley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay, with that, we're on to item K. Consideration of acceptance of quote from Bradbury Stan for cementitious panels for Denning High School.
Those furnaces, they didn't work here. As you know, over the last few years, districts and project team working on a long-term solution with the panels. As you likely notice, several panels have cracked and damaged, and so the design team, contractor, the subcontractor, and us have been out there several times. Even met with the manufacturer, had then come out, send it to an independent lab, see if they sold us they had a bad run. They said, no, we didn't. it's the installer's fault. Anyway. The design professional has agreed to design and engineer a new system. And we've found a product that's a aluminum composite. They use it on a lot of car dealerships, so I have a kind of a
Picture.
it's gonna look real similar. It's gonna be a light gray, a dark gray, and a white. The contractor and subcontractor are covering the cost for removing the old panels, disposing of them and installing the new ones. They've asked the district to cover the cost of the new. This project has been part of the district's current 5-year master plan, and we're now asking the board to approve funding for the replacement of all this cementitious panels from that. Answer any questions?
And so what's the cost associated with this?
Our estimate is $2,200,000. $220,000. That didn't come out right.
No, I was trying to process it myself. I was like,
I'm sorry, it's not working no more.
So they agree to take them down and install them. Basically, we're just buying the material. Is that what's basically going on?
I'm doing a 3-way split.
And so the material is guaranteed for how long?
10 years. And I have the warranty here, if you want to see that too.
And so that would cover a bad installation also?
And the installer that installed this out with glass will be doing the same work.
I know we've been fighting with this for a while now, and it stinks that we have to spend more money on something that,
We already bought.
my view, yeah, we already bought and should be operational, you know.
I know that.
But the alternative is to go to court. And that'll cost way more than 200.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah,
Just really unfortunate that it. fell off.
yeah. What do you say, Mr. Crowe?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of the things, like she says, it's either go to court or we fight for it and we're 4 or 5 years into it or 10 or whatever it might be, you know, and
They're not gonna stop crying.
yeah. And then we still have to deal with it no matter what, you know, if we lose or company goes out of business. I mean, there's a variety of things that can happen. So. I say I mean, it is what it is. It's part of life, I guess. I've dealt with it all my life. Sometimes you just gotta take a bullet and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. I mean, I wish they would cover it more, but, you know. So when are they gonna get started on it?
We'll have to
If
get
you-
a commitment. Well, I think a couple months.
Any questions by the board? If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to accept the quote from Bradbury Stam for cementitious panels for Deming High School.
I'll second it.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Thank you. On to consideration of award for RFP 24-17 Educational Diagnostic Services Evaluations. Mr. Science.
Good evening. It's good to be in this building again. We've got a lot of good memories, but it's been 4 years since the ESS department has gone out for an educational diagnostic evaluation services, and so we had 4 that put in, and so we want to go ahead and make the recommendation to the board that we awarded to Solient Health for the educational diagnostic services.
By the board? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to award the bid for 2419. Oh, no, sorry.
2417.
Yeah, RFP 2417 Educational Diagnostic Services Evaluations.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Crowe.
Sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley,
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Science.
Thank you.
You.
Item M, consideration of award for bid 24-19 refrigeration parts and services and general kitchen repair.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nibbs. The recommendation for the board for refrigeration parts and services and general kitchen repair is that the board approve Monarch Heating and Cooling. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, and Miss Ginger Jones is out sick today, or she would be here to answer questions.
I'll move to approve the award for bid 24-19 refrigeration parts and services and general kitchen repair.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crowe.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez,
Yes.
Mr. Orozco.
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley.
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
All right. With that, on to presentation of science adoption materials.
President Orozco, members of the board, Superintendent Nips, I am going to introduce Dr. Laura Oldham. She took the lead of the science adoption for this school year. So this year was science. I think you guys remember at the very beginning of the year, I came forward for CTE adoption. That was the last year's adoption. So science adoption, we're getting through the process. We'll be able to come to you next month with the books. And so we can get it approved, but I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Oldham and she can explain the process that we did as we went through this process.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Nips. Thank you for listening to what we've got going on with science this year. No, I love science. Science is great. I mean, the language arts not that special, but science is fantastic. Bring myself down. So the process that we use to go through the K-12 science material adoption, first, forming a committee of teachers from grade banded, so elementary, representation of one teacher per grade level per school. Got it. And then representation from each of the middle school grade levels, so 6, 7, and 8. And then I had a point of contact at the high school, but the entire high school science department participated in the presentations and the discussion of what it was they would like to select. One of the things that I strongly communicated to the committee was that teachers was that it was important to approach the evaluation of the materials from an unbiased place, and also looking at the needs of all of our students. So our ESS students, our multilingual learners, our students who have other kind of challenges, and how our instructional materials can support them in learning science. And then I went to the teachers and said, I asked them for what were the things that they were looking for. So many of the teachers said, we're looking for the hands-on science material, because we know that it is the hands-on pieces of science that really engage the students in learning, not just the literacy portion of science. For elementary, they specifically asked for materials that would be easily integrated into the language arts block, because the way the elementary schedule is set up, oftentimes science and social studies happen within language arts. Some of the things that secondary asked for was also kits, which I was only able to get for, or only able to find publishers who had those for middle school and one, I think, early college, they'll get to. And they wanted engaging labs for the same reasons that elementary wanted the kids, because labs are part of what really helps students internalize and understand these science concepts. And I also talked to district admin. What kinds of things are we looking at from the district level that are going to help us make sure that our students are in fact learning the science? And probably one of the things at the top of that list was the ability to follow students' assessments and easily access that data so we can support the schools in supporting teachers and students in learning science. We're going to keep saying that, I guess. So based on the information that I was given from the district admin, from principals, from teachers, I contacted several publishers and we set up presentations. And the publishers that I contacted were only the ones that were on the HQI and the high quality instructional materials list published by the PED, and the ones that met those criteria. The teachers from the committee came to the presentations. They got samples of the materials. They evaluated those materials. They were provided with rubrics to evaluate those materials with, which they in turn gave back to me with commentary about what they liked, what they didn't like about said instructional materials. And with elementary in particular, they were given, because there are 6 schools and 36 people that we're dealing with, they were also provided with a ranking form. That way, I know that through this process, having done it with language arts before, that I'm not going to make everyone happy. And everyone is not going to get their first choice. But with a ranking form as opposed to a straight vote, at least I can see if I can't get you a first choice, maybe what we can do is a second choice. Now, what we do want is all of the elementaries to use the same science materials, 6th grade band to use the same materials, and then the high school grade band, high school and then early college separate, because they have different courses that they offer. So from the ranking form and from the conversations with these teachers, we have they said that many of the materials that they viewed had the same components. They met the 5 E's, they met the standards. They had engaging labs for students. For elementary, they were looking specifically at programs that also had strong literacy components, because they'll have to move texts around. And the elementary school, as far as their ranking is concerned, their top 3 right now that I'm going to engage with more a bit are Amplify, which is a new one for us, McGraw-Hill and Savas. And then middle school is looking at STEM Scopes and McGraw-Hill. And then high school is looking at Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, McGraw-Hill for their main science courses, National Geographic Cengage for the specific subjects that are not available from those main publishers. And then early college is looking at Savas and McGraw-Hill for their instructional materials, because they have a different course load. They teach classes, but high school does not teach. The final decision will be based on additional feedback from the teachers, particularly in elementary and middle school, and then balancing the big grade band, so K-12, with our $858,000 allocation. My goal is, I'm hopeful that I can make sure that teachers get either their first or second choice, because one of the things we know, if the teachers are excited about the materials and excited about the science, they're more likely to teach it, which means students are also more likely to be engaged, and we want students to be engaged. But I do, in fact, understand that it's going to be a challenge, and we've started the process of looking at quotes. I have a couple in my inbox that I'm going to get to, but we will have the rest for you in June with the recommendation.
How many companies did you evaluate total?
For elementary, we looked at 4. For middle school, we looked at 4, and high school 3. Early college came to the high school to, with those materials, but they also had an additional presentation because they wanted, choice in their physical science class.
So there's a possibility that at high school, middle school and elementary will be different companies, is that?
That I would prefer K-8, to be the same, or 6-12, but I also understand that that may not work. Based on the needs that the teachers have told me about, and about the way the balance happens up with the quotes.
And that 858, is that something that PED has?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sure the companies probably know that, companies that give these materials. I'm sure that's pretty common knowledge amongst the market. I mean, does that put us in the ballpark? Are we?
I've never done the money side of this before, if I'm being perfectly honest.
And this is my first year. I actually went to New Mexico and I was like, I think allocations are out, so I had to dig around to figure out. I think with the transition of new people in this department, it was just, so I got the allocation, I think the allocation was sent out April 9th and I got it April 16th.
The allocations are based on student population?
I don't know how they do the allocation, but I think they're onto something because there's a whole, all the districts are on one sheet and it tells how much each person's getting, so it just looks very general. It doesn't have any information, it's just.
That's what you get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's by alphabetical order and in all the districts, it's like 2 sheets long and then they're just like one after another.
Yeah.
Your
So
name, number, name, number.
I'm sure these companies probably get that same list too, and like,
I would think so. And when we didn't even know what the allocation was until we had already started talking about it. And so we're getting quotes in, so. We're hoping to give everybody their first choice, but.
yeah. Just more of a situation of like, hey, publisher, this is what we have, so. You know, versus, or is there wiggle room there, you know, even
Oh,
with
yes.
them with their quotes and what we get back. I know we've had this discussion in the past where there's been stuff where we missed some of the bells and whistles, and then later on that came up as maybe we didn't have all the bells and whistles that we needed, so I know that's been an issue in the past as well.
The big thing in terms of what teachers have said to develop proposals are in fact those hands-on science kits, which do have consumable components. I am looking at, that's one of the things that I'm looking at when I'm looking at the state adopted list, is they have that listed there in terms of, do we get refills of those consumable components? And some of the publishers have that included, others have it as a separate line. And so when we're looking at how this is going to shake out, that is one of the things I'm absolutely considering.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for the final report. Thank you.
Good work, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank
It's a lot of
you.
work.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Very
She's
thorough.
amazing.
Yeah.
All right. On to the superintendent reports.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I first wanted to talk about the makeup days. I talked to the union today and they said the rumors are rampant as far as, are we making them up? How many days are we making up and things? So I want to put everybody at ease. We as a district have decided we will not. Fortunately, we have met our, the minimum requirement of 1140 hours. So we have met that. What we are lacking now are the days we were funded for K-12 plus at that point. But at this point, we have 2 possible days to make up, which would be Memorial Day and possibly the last day of school. And it's such short notice. So at this point, we've decided we'll just forego the money. They gave it to us, we didn't spend it, so we give it back, and it's about $2.1 million that we would be forfeiting. But you know, at this point. But I do want to thank Patty and the Transportation Department because we don't take these days lightly. We start discussions when we start seeing that the wind is coming up. We start studying it. Patty's on the phone. Mr. Parker's watching the weather maps and things like that. So we really try and make an informed decision. You know, there's been fatalities, not thank goodness, not with students, but there has been fatalities on 549. I want to say there was. So we are always considered life and our staff and our students first. So at this point, we're not going to make them up, and we'll just, you know, forego the money. So.
And I mean, I think we're unique in the situation that a lot of our kids live a good distance away from the school, so.
Right.
That becomes a challenge in itself.
Right. This last event, we had 3 buses that got had to shelter at the high school because 549 shut down first. So, and again, thanks. Transportation is out, safety's out, we're all driving the roads, and so. Just to put people at ease, we're not gonna make them up, and we won't make you come back in June, so. The next item is we're gonna talk about the Child Development Center update. Last week, Ms. Chavez was able to present to us the books, or I guess the state of the Child Care Center and financials. And after looking at her data, which was very comprehensive, best case scenario, we're full and we get a 4-star, we break even-ish. So we've decided that we're going to go ahead and close the center, close that program. Just because right now, some of the funds are K-12 funds. You know, the money that we get is for K-12, and this is funding, some of it might be funding the lower age. So we're just gonna shut it down. So, but thank you, Andy, for as much work and time. Hadn't realized how much time you put in for that. So
Get some Saturdays back.
yeah, you got some Saturdays and Wednesday nights back. So
That'll be nice.
yeah, you're welcome. I was gonna have Babs talk about the stadium lights.
100,000 stadium. We're done. They're installed. They're hooked up. We're having a training tomorrow morning at 9, and then a meeting tomorrow morning at 10:30 with the high school graduation team. Make sure everybody's set and confident in how it's gonna roll out. So, cool. That's
Great.
Thank you.
Doing a really good job.
Yes, I saw someone sent a video of it at night and it looks really great. So I think graduation's gonna be really,
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last item we wanted to update you with is on HR, as far as where we're at in positions that are open right now. Currently, we have, I don't know, I had it written down somewhere. Currently, we do have 3 elementary school principals positions open. Ms. Reinhardt started the first round of interviews today.
Yes.
So those should be filled fairly shortly. Right now, we have 20 teachers posted, which is not that bad. And 1 testing coordinator for actually this building, and then 1 library media tech position for the technology department. And then we'll get the EA positions probably posted within the next week or so. We need to talk to Ms. Chavez about the staff that is at the Child Care Center to see how we can absorb them. So that they're our first priority. And then we'll start advertising the rest of our EA jobs. And then I think that's it as far as HR. We're rocking and rolling. We've already started hiring. A lot of the principals have already sent over a lot of recommendations. So we've already got a lot of teachers hired for next year. So it's good. So any questions on any of those? You know, I ran through them quick, but
How that works. All right, any requests for agenda items? The application window for superintendent vacancy will close May 16th at 5 p.m.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, we did get an update from Dr. Linda Paul and Tom Sullivan this afternoon, and Currently, we have 15 packets out, so 15 people have inquired about applying for the position. And 6 have returned them completed at this point. As far as the committees go for the staff in the community, we do have 26 yeses. And there has been a couple that have been unfortunately had to decline, and I've reached out to those of you whose committee members did decline to find us an alternate.
Okay. A reminder that a special board meeting has been scheduled for May 29th at 5:30 at the Emmett Shockley Administration Building, 400 Cody Road in Deming. Also, a special board meeting is scheduled for June 14th. Time and location for that will be announced soon. The next regular meeting will be held June 19th at 5:30. The Emmett Shockley Administration Building, 400 Cody Road. And with that, we'll adjourn into open session and enter into closed session. No action will occur as a result of closed executive session. The board will enter into closed executive session as permitted by the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, specifically to discuss the following: limited personnel matters permitted by section 10-15-H2 of the Act. Discussion of personally identifiable information about any student as permitted by section 10-15-1H4 of the Act. Meeting subject to attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the public body is or may become a participant as permitted by section 10-15-1H7 of the Act. To meet with legal counsel to discuss pending litigation, Deming Public Schools v. Macias D-619-CV-2025-00078.
I move that we adjourn open session and enter into closed executive session for the purposes stated by President Orozco.
I second that.
Mr. Crowe.
Yes. Mrs. Paez?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mrs. Crumley?
Yes.
Mr. Oh, yes.
With that, we're in closed session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, we are out of closed session and I will entertain a motion to come out of closed session.
I make a motion that we come out of closed session.
I'll second.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kremley?
Yes.
Mr. Crowe, yes.
Okay. And now that we're back in open session, I'll entertain a motion for potential action authorizing the board president in consultation with legal counsel to proceed as discussed in closed executive session, including negotiation of settlement.
So move.
I will second.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez?
Yes.
Mr. Orozco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kremley?
Yes.
Mr. Kroll, yes.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Mr. Crowe?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Paez?
Yes.